Hi, I'm Jay. So we're here in the Twister test facility. We have some donkey butter here. It's big and chunky. We're going to show you how we cure it. There's two ways we cure it. One is on the branch, one is off the branch. In this video, we're going to show you off the branch. We're going to do it with the cure puffs. It's coming up next. Okay, so we just finished a 10-day dry. This is the same donkey butter. You'll see the leaves are crispy. The stems don't quite snap yet. The room environment was 58 RH and 60 Fahrenheit. We're gonna buck these off. They're going to bins into totes, and then we're going to trim. And from trimming, we're going to cure it. It's very important that when we go from this dry room into the trim room, that the environment is the same. Often people will go into a warmer or colder or drier or wetter environment, and it messes up the flow. So we're gonna take this, trim it, go into curing. The important thing with this room is we turned off the dehumidifier and AC for 24 hours to see what the room stabilized at. It stabilized at 63.5, which for us is perfect. That allows us to keep some moisture in the flour, and we're gonna pull that out and cure it. So we'll show you that next. So we're done trimming, we're now here in curing. You can cure in a variety of containers with the cure puck. There's black and yellow totes, other types of totes, craft wax lined barrels, pails, stainless steel drums. We typically use the wax lined craft barrel. Two reasons: they seal really well, so they're great for transport, and they don't smell. The other one, and they're great for holding the humidity and stabilizing the environment. But they also are easy to stir the flour in. So we have this roller system that you need to spin once a day and get the flour turned in there. You can come take a look at the flour here. We ensure that we don't fill any container more than half full. That allows room for the headspace for the gas to accumulate. This flour the stems don't snap yet. It's getting close, but it's got a ways to go. So we're gonna put the lid on here. There's a hose that will find its way to the bottom. It'll center itself in the bottom. Now we'll give it a few spins to get the flour to move its way to the front. You can actually see through the white here that the flour's up the front now. Now it has power right now, but this is a battery backup. It needs power for day-to-day operation. I'm gonna hit start, and it is going to start analyzing. So it's analyzing the environment inside of here, and it'll do this for a while to allow the moisture to stabilize. Once moisture stabilizes, it'll start taking more action. So one of the actions it'll take is when the environment inside here climbs above 62, it will turn the pump on and pump that air out and pump new air in. Once it drops to 60, it'll stop. It's also programmed to turn on every day for 10 minutes, once a day, and exchange the air. Now, you can change these settings. These are the settings we typically use. You'll notice the gas right now is 450, so that's the ambient CO2 in the environment. That's gonna start to climb. It's already starting to climb. It'll climb to roughly 1,000, 1,500. If it doesn't climb, it's a good indication there's no moisture left in the flour and respiration in the flour has stopped. So this will probably hit 1,500. We'll come back in a while and check on it. The RH in the room is really low right now, it's 40. I said it had to be the same as the trim room, and it's not. So we have to get the environment in here, the moisture up in this room a bit. And the same as the temperature is a bit too high, we have to bring that down. It's important because that's the air that's exchanging inside of this bin. So you can see the RH in the chamber is already climbing. It's already at 56. And it'll continue to climb. Once it climbs above that threshold of 62, again, the pump will kick on and push fresh air in. We'll come back and check it in a bit. Okay, so it's been about an hour. The water activity is stabilized at 0.60, or the relative humidity in this bin is now 60%. The CO2 is stable at 950, so you can tell there's respiration happening inside of there. The flour is still giving off CO2. So we're gonna come back in a bit and see where it's at. Okay, so we're 24 hours later in the cure puck. We turned the cure puck pump off for the last 24 hours. We wanted to show you what it stabilized at. So we're stabilized at about 62.8 RH. So that's too high, that's above our high set limit of 62. So as soon as I turn this on, it'll start pumping right away. The CO2 is at 2675, so that's very high. You can tell there's respiration still happening inside of the flour here. So as soon as I hit this start, the pump will kick on because it's above our set limit, and it'll pump it down below our set limit. We'll come back in a bit. Okay, so we're 5 days later. The CO2 is now at about 1100. So it's come down quite a bit. So the respiration inside is slowing down. The RH is about 62.8. Now, it's been off for a bit, so we can get these numbers stabilized to show you. As soon as I hit start, the pump's gonna kick back on, it's gonna pump that gas back out. Okay, so we're back day 8. CO2 is 675. So the respiration has slowed down a lot. If you remember, I think we're up around 2,000 or 3,000 in the start. So 675 is great. The ambient air in here is roughly 450 to 500. So we know once this starts stabilizing that range, the respiration stopped. The water activity, so we're at 61.3% RH right now, 61.5, it jumps around. So that's 0.61. We like to see it between 60 and 62. I think the closer to 62 you get, the better. That's where I've seen the best results. So we're gonna give this a few more days. I'm gonna give it a quick turn, just to stir it up in there. And we'll be back in 2 days. Okay, so we're day 10. CO2 stopped, 475, it hasn't climbed any higher. The RH in there was stable at about 61. I'll bring this down. And we'll take a look at it inside. Actually, what I'll do is I'll take this outside because it's gonna be hard to see it in here. You can take a look. We'll take this outside where it's easier to see. Let's go do that now.
It's all right.
It seems brighter though. Okay, so we brought this flower outside so we get a good look at it in the light. Let's find a piece here. Let's see what happens. So we'll give this a squeeze. It should squish like a marshmallow and puff back. Yeah. See how sticky that is? And the stem should snap. See that the stem just snaps. You can hear the audible crack. Get the stem to snap inside. Hear that crack? Give it a squeeze. Puffs back. Super sticky. It's exactly what we want to see. So that's it, start to finish with the cure pucks. So this setup we have here, these craft barrels and these black and yellow totes, this will cure about 210 pounds. So it's a good size. The thing we didn't talk about is the web app. So the web app it'll track the data of everything we just did. With graphs, it'll give you a really clear indication of how you're progressing, where you're potentially gonna stop. So for us, we went 10 days. You can go 15 days, 20 days. We wanted to compress a little bit for 10 days. We stopped on this run when the CO2 stopped climbing. That's when we knew respiration was stopping. Now with the CO2, it's possible that you can do this and not have the CO2 climb at all. And that is typically because you overdried your flower. There's just the respiration stop, the enzymes and the aerobic activity is no longer happening. So if you over dry, there's not much you can do. Under drying, we kind of fix that, but over drying, you cook your dry, you're toast. So the last thing is the gases. So there are, besides CO2, there's things like ethylene, ammonia. Ammonia happens often if it's too wet, you'll get that cat pee smell, not ideal. Ethylene's there. There's other gases as well. We monitor those, we've learned a lot about those, and we're still learning, we're constantly learning about this process. But the one that we find that would be the most effective is the CO2. And yeah, in the end, like, we just want to help people make the best craft cannabis possible. We want to help assist in the curing process, and there's so much to learn still, but we think we're making good steps towards it, and we hope we can help you. Thanks.